Feeling stuck, feeling lazy, feeling like you can't get any momentum right now? Well, actually, our advice to you today might be, here's what you can stop doing to be more productive. What's up, everybody? JDew and Tim Joiner back here with the Grow with Tim podcast. We're so happy that you are here. Follow, like, and subscribe wherever you are. We're even doing a little extra on TikTok right now. And while we record this live podcast, we've got a TikTok live because, Tim, congratulations, you're over the hump and you have 1,000+ followers on your TikTok account. For those of you who are not on TikTok yet, get there.
Right.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, 1,000 isn't much for some people, but when we started from zero and grew organically, I'm happy with that progress.
Everyone starts at zero, ladies and gentlemen, so we got to get started. Speaking of getting started, we're talking about that energy today that we need to become a force of momentum. Dave Ramsey even came up with a new book, The Momentum Theorem. I've listened to that once or twice, years and years ago. I think he's given it like as a Sunday school presentation. But we're talking about managing not just time, but the resources we have. The number one resource, of course, outside of your time is your energy, your focus, your creativity.
That's right.
We're going to get into it, Tim. So what are your thoughts around this? What do we do when we feel stuck? When do you feel stuck? Well, how do we get through something like this?
Yeah, so this came from a friend of mine who's been very successful in business, but right now is in a period of his life where things have not been going well. And
so are we going to get any names, Tim?
No, we'll protect the innocent. Okay. But this friend was saying, look, I just feel stuck. Like, I don't feel productive. I'm not getting as much done as I want. I don't have a lot of energy or motivation. Right. And he was like, how do I get unstuck? And I thought, what a brilliant topic for a podcast, because we've all been there. There have been periods in my life where I've been incredibly productive and like everything is clicking and I'm getting stuff done and I feel like I can take on the world. And there are other times when, I just kind of want to sit around and like scroll through TikTok videos. And the question is, how do you get unstuck?
Well, unless if we're following Grow with Tim on TikTok, then we're going to be unstuck soon enough.
You're going to be binge watching us.
Yes, of course.
Aside from that.
Okay, aside from that. So here's my first question. This person that you're talking to, your friend, would you say that normally they are a very successful, productive type person?
Yeah.
Okay, so first off, we can admit that a lot of us go through these cycles of energy and life and productivity. So it's okay.
It's okay, but how do you get? You can't stay there.
Right. You don't want to stay there.
But it's not okay to stay there. Right. Or at least not for a long periods of time.
Right, for sure.
So a preview of what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about how do you create your own confidence, because confidence is an enormous source of, or an incredible source of energy, right? If you're feeling insecure, uncertain, kind of down, you're not going to go out and take on the world. You're not going to do big things. But if you have confidence, you can do big things. So how do you create your own confidence? That's one thing I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I want to talk about how do you employ the Pareto Principle, right? Most of us know that 80% of our results come from 20% of our activity and effort. So how do I do more of the really highly productive thing and less of the other stuff? So we want to eliminate things. We want to automate things. We want to delegate things. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We want to talk about teamwork and how do you, it might be the reason that you're feeling stuck is because you're doing a bunch of stuff that you just don't like to do or you're not very good at.
Oh, right.
So how do we employ teamwork? So 2 + 2 = 5. I want to talk about taking breaks and managing energy. How do you strategically use music and books and people and ideas and activities to build energy? So these are just some of the things that I want to cover as we talk about managing and creating momentum.
Right. So first off, can you define or help us understand why we might go there? Do you think one of the main reasons is because we start to get bogged down with things we shouldn't be doing? Is that one of the reasons?
Well, let's start with the really basic physiological things, right? It may just be that you're not sleeping enough.
Yeah, we're pooped. Right.
You may need to get better sleep. You may need better nutrition. If you're filling your body with junk food, you put bad fuel in your engine, you're not going to go very far. It's the same thing with your body.
Right.
So it may be that you need better exercise, better nutrition, better sleep, and there are ways to fix all of those problems, right? I realize some of us have health challenges that are really intractable and difficult to fix, but for most of us, we can drink more water, we can exercise more, we can sleep better. And there may be some specific things that you can do to help sleep better. Change the temperature, get a better mattress, right? There's stuff like that. But assuming we've checked all the basic physiological boxes, it may just be that we're doing the wrong things. If we're constantly doing things that are stressful, low, that they're not motivating for us, we don't like to do them, we're not very good at them, yeah, your momentum's going to suffer.
Right, because if you're doing things that give you, I've heard it like this. I'm a speaker. I've done a lot of things in the public circle in terms of speaking. And if you're doing things that give you energy, then you never run out of energy, right? It's kind of the idea behind do stuff you love, work on things you love, and then you never actually work a day in your life.
That's right.
So if you're getting energy from those things,
you'll never work another day in your life.
So if you're doing things that give you energy, for me, getting in front of a room, being able to control the environment and culture of an audience gives me energy normally, right? If it's the right room, right people. So that's why I was asking, do you think sometimes we're just spending too much time working on things that are taking energy away from us, so we can't get momentum because we don't even want to go back into work or work mode.
We don't want to be productive because we don't like to do more of the thing that we don't like.
Right. So I think I have that problem, and I've had that problem many times. So
what do you do in that situation?
Yeah, right.
I think you've got to create, I know we've talked before about a stop doing list. Everybody has a to-do list, but what about a stop doing list?
Yes.
So the way that I like to coach people to do this is build a spreadsheet, get out Excel or Google Sheets or whatever, and create a list of all the stuff that you do. Take an activity inventory. So all the little granular things that you do. You send out invoices, you manage projects, you hire people, you fire people, you open the mail, all kinds of stuff. And then figure out which of those you're going to stop doing. And I put by column 3 months at a time. So next quarter, I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to stop doing that, stop doing that. And I've done this so many times. I've completely reinvented my job description many times over.
Right.
And the result is that I'm doing a smaller range of things, but they're all things that I love to do and I think I'm good at. And man, that makes such a huge difference in energy.
Right. So it's kind of what I've mentioned before in one-on-one situations, working with interns and new hires, especially in my realm. I have not had the coaching clientele of you, and nor do I think I should or want it out there. I'm just here to help, ladies and gentlemen. However,
coaches do.
Yeah, well, but I've been on that realm and in that driver's seat a few times for folks who have been in an intern type position. Maybe they're in college. And I say, get to the middle of the three circles. So I believe that was a Good to Great Jim Collins philosophy, is the circle of what you love to do, the Venn diagram, what you love to do, what you're good at, and what makes money. If you can stay toward the middle of those things, then you'll have the energy and momentum because you like doing things you're good at, and
success and rewards.
Yeah. So there it is. But for me, I don't think that I've actually taken your advice on this one about writing down the things that I'm going to stop doing over the course of time.
So there's your first takeaway.
Yeah, I need to do it because, having it listed out in terms of this quarterly idea, X to Y by when, is really probably, a lot of us need to do out there.
A lot of us do.
Yeah.
The first time I did this, I thought, man, this was back 15 years ago, and I was working 80-hour weeks all the time, and I thought, man, I'm gonna get rid of all this stuff. I'm gonna be down to like 25 hours a week. What am I gonna do with myself? And what I found was there was a whole additional list that I didn't even know about because I didn't even have the bandwidth, the mental bandwidth, the time, or the energy to think about it. But when I got rid of all these low-value tasks, I was like, oh, I could do that, and I could do that, and all these strategic big things that were, moved the needle for me. But I didn't even have enough energy to think about those things when I was opening the mail and sending out my own invoices and all this pesky little stuff. So if you haven't done that, do it. That's the first thing. What do you think about this Pareto principle? Have you seen in your life where, man, we've got a long to-do list, but most of them don't really matter, and a few of them are really what are creating the big results? Have you had that experience?
I would say that right there is something that I am currently realizing. If we want to get granular and be truthful here, in my world, I am at the place now where I'm really working with executive assistant type work for the first time consistently, getting on a rhythm with this person and saying, hey, every Friday, let's meet and let's talk through XYZ. And I'm eliminating things that steal my energy away that this other person can pull off. And prior to this, it wasn't that I thought I was better than anyone else. It was just I never had help. I just didn't think of myself as a duplicable model. But now I'm like, well, if this person can duplicate this instance for me, then and of course the results are 10x immediately, and like, well, if I don't have to send those emails.
I remember meeting somebody who was a really successful entrepreneur, and she told me about this concept of desk fairies. She had a team of people working for her, but every day at 4:30, 2 desk fairies came in, and these were members of her team, valuable members. She didn't mean to be demeaning by calling them that.
Sure. Because it sounded like a dust bunny at first or something like that. I was like, is this good or bad?
These desk fairies would come in and help her clear her desk, both literally and metaphorically. So clear her mind, clear her email. So they would come in and just say, okay, what about this paper? What needs to happen with it? Take that to accounting. We need to pay that bill. Okay, you got these 10 emails. Oh yeah, can you tell them such and such? And I need to do that, and go ahead and schedule that. And literally every day at 4:30, she would clear her desk, clear her inbox, clear her head, and these 2 desk fairies would just make it all go away. And so every day at the end of the day, she was like ready to go home and check out. And the next day she'd do it all over again. And I thought, wow, that's brilliant. I don't have physical desk fairies, right?
Okay.
My team is mostly remote.
Yeah.
But I have similar concepts in place, and it's brilliant, because otherwise you get to the end of your day and you're like, oh, I got to send those emails before I can get out of here, and look at this pile of paper I've got, and it just saps your energy. So I love the idea.
The corporate Tinkerbell theory, ladies and gentlemen. We got a new blog post coming out on that soon. Be waiting for it.
That's your first book.
There it is. There it is.
I like it. All right. So the 80-20, let's try to eliminate or automate or delegate the stuff that isn't producing the biggest results, that you don't love to do, that isn't making you the most money.
Yep.
Let's eliminate those things, or automate or delegate. So by the way, why that order? Have you ever thought about it? Because that order is important, I think.
Oh, okay, really? I was going to ask a question about it. So eliminate, I would say, well, I think based on the Pareto Principle, if you understand the 80-20 or 90-10 principle of Pareto, because I think Pareto started out with actually 90-10, but it expanded to 80-20.
Maybe so, I don't know.
It's that much of what you're doing or focused on gives you no results. Yeah. It's not just, so if you delegate a bunch of things that still don't give you results, it's not getting you anywhere, right? So I guess,
to do stuff that doesn't matter.
Right. So the effective and efficiency. You've given me a good, so how do you say that? The effectiveness and the efficienciness.
Yeah, being efficient is doing things the right way, right? It's being really, minimize the resources, the time, effort, energy required to do something.
Okay.
But you can be efficient without being effective. Being efficient is doing things the right way. Being effective is doing the right things.
That's it.
So I can be efficient at moving files from one filing cabinet to another. I can get really efficient. Like, okay, I open the file, but it's not, it's worthless, right? And a lot of what we do, we obsess over being efficient. We shouldn't be doing it in the first place. Right.
Yeah. Better not do it. I don't know how to say it exactly, but I think you'll resonate, and you'll hopefully pull me out of the quote pit that I am about to get myself into. Is there's nothing worse than doing something effectively that shouldn't be done at all.
Be done at all. That's
it just shouldn't be done at all. There it is.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. So I guess that's why we eliminate. That's why we eliminate.
Then we try to automate before we delegate, because if it's something that can be automated, number one, just the exercise of thinking through the automation will clear your head, and like, what's the decision tree like? Like, why? Okay, this happens, and then this happens, and based on this, even if you can't automate it, thinking through that process is going to be a lot more useful when you go to delegate it. You're going to be able to teach that person very quickly. Okay, here's what to do when this happens. But if you can automate it, do it, right? So one classic thing is like bill pay. There are so many people that spend like a couple hours a month just paying their bills, and that kills me. Like, it's one thing if you're paycheck to paycheck and you got to see every dollar and worry about the timing. I'm going to have to be late on this one. Most of us hopefully aren't living in that situation. Put your bills on auto pay and never think about it. Like, the bill comes in, and sure, I want to look at it and make sure that there's nothing out of line, like it's twice as high as usual.
Sure, right.
But I don't want to write a check or get online and try to log in and enter my credit card or whatever. Like, it just gets paid. I have, between all the different businesses and stuff, I have 150 bills a month. I haven't counted them. There might be more than that. All but 2 are on auto pay, and those 2 are really irritating to me, but there's no way to automate it because it's different every month, and companies don't offer that service.
Yeah.
But almost everything is on auto pay, and I just never think about it or waste time on it. But there's all kinds of stuff you can automate. And if you're not taking advantage of that, you're wasting your time or your team's time. So if you can't automate it. And then finally, delegate it and give people rules, give people a framework. Here's how to make the decision and give them authority.
Yeah.
Right. I would rather my team make some small mistakes than constantly wait on me to answer questions and give them approval and whatever. So I give them a budget. I give them rules. I say, look, I'm never going to get you in trouble for making a decision. I want you to be biased for action. So I give them
bias for action. Okay. I like that.
Threefold criteria.
All right.
Number one is, do you have enough information to make this decision?
Okay.
Enough information, right? Number two, do you feel reasonably confident about this decision? And number three, is the risk acceptably low? So is the risk low? Do you have confidence, and do you have enough information? If you're making a big decision, $10,000, and you've only considered one option, you don't have enough information, right? You should probably do more homework. If you're really uncertain, like, we could do this or could do this, I just don't know because this is not my area of expertise, probably shouldn't make a big decision. And if the risk is really high, there's a difference between a $5,000 decision and a $50 decision.
Sure.
If it's a $50 decision and you're like, I checked a couple, I'm good, make it. And even if you make the wrong decision, I tell my team all the time, I'm going to applaud you for making a decision. We'll talk about how to make a better decision next time, but I'm not going to slap your wrist for making a mistake. I'm going to applaud you, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be the bottleneck.
Because that's actually more efficient than you having to deal with the weight of all of the decisions. And there's fatigue around. Yeah.
They're growing and getting better and more capable and more valuable. So, all right. So eliminate, automate, delegate. Let's talk about confidence. So Dan Sullivan has a book called The 4 C's, and it's a little 30-page book. It's a great read. I'd recommend it to you.
Okay.
If you haven't read it. He says there are 4 steps to building your own confidence. Number 1 is you make a commitment to do whatever scary thing it is.
Okay.
Right? Which requires courage, the second thing. So you make a commitment. I've told you before, I got my start a long time ago in a high school. Somebody asked me if I could build them a website. And I said, I'll build you a website. Right? I didn't know how to build a website. I went down to the library and I got a book about web design for dummies or whatever it was, and I figured it out, right? And I built this website, and I've done that again and again and again. I'm always committing to stuff that I don't know how to do because I know that I'm a smart, capable person, and somebody out there knows how to do it, and I can learn as well as the next guy can. So I'm always committing to things that I've got most of the raw material, but I'm not quite sure how to do it. That requires courage. It's uncomfortable.
Right.
Courage, by the way, is not acting in the absence of fear. It's acting in the face of it.
Despite the fear.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So you make a commitment. You exercise courage. The result then is that you have new capabilities. You're like, I figured this out. Now I've got a new capability. And that fuels your confidence. And then that confidence fuels the cycle all over again. So here's how you use this to your advantage. You go backwards and you say, when have I benefited from this in the past? When have I done something that was uncomfortable? And look at and write it down. Write down.
Okay.
I did this thing that was uncomfortable.
Right.
This required courage for these reasons. Look at the capabilities that came out of that. Now I'm stronger at this. I'm more skilled at this. I've got this new and then how did I feel coming out of that? Man, I had more confidence. All right, now take that high of confidence and fuel the next thing and say, all right, what opportunities before me that I'm feeling a little nervous about, I'm a little afraid of it, but look, I'm a smart, capable person. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to go ahead and commit to that, and I'll figure it out. The result will be more capability, more confidence. So if you're feeling stuck, we got on this whole topic about momentum, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times you might have a physiological root. So get better sleep, get better nutrition, get better exercise. It might be that you're doing the wrong things. So eliminate, automate, delegate.
Yep.
It might be that you don't have enough confidence just because you haven't really thought about, look, I've done this before. I can do this again. Or I think the last big idea for today is just break it down and take the first action. I don't know if you've experienced this. I have again and again. When I really don't want to do something, I'm procrastinating, I don't have energy, I'm insecure about it, whatever. I might ignore that thing for weeks or even months. But when I finally get around to breaking it down into, okay, what's the first action? And I take that first action, it's like magic.
Snowball effect.
Yeah, snowball.
Everything the momentum carries you through the process of getting it all done. And sometimes we just haven't put it to our mindset on not the big task ahead of us, but just the one step we need to take today, right?
Got it.
I mean, you eat an elephant one step at a time. A journey of 1,000 miles is one step or however.
One bite. Right?
See, I'm just just really struggling today at my quotes. This is like the quote episode that I can't get right. But a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. It is.
Yeah, and you eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Yeah,
we knew what you meant.
See, everybody knows. This is that type of podcast. So what I think that I've heard in the realm of Dan Sullivan, as you mentioned, the 4 C's and all that, is I heard him say one time, because of course you got me loving this guy and what he teaches and how he coaches folks, is that we have lost the ability at some point when we're at a stopping point in our momentum, our creativity and our energy. We've lost the ability to see ourselves with a compelling future. We can't figure out mentally, actually, what it is we're going for, or who we want to be when we get this project done or something like that. So we have to clear our minds of the trash that's disallowing us to see ourselves as a brighter, healthier, more energetic, or a person who's got the confidence because they finished a project working on the next one.
You got it. I think we're running out of time, but that vision casting, picturing a bigger tomorrow than your yesterday, is critical. You've always got to have hope of something better. You've got to be envisioning that future self that you want to be, and then take the first action. So that was my advice to my friend who said, man, I just am feeling stuck. I can't get anything done. I'm struggling with some health stuff and not being very productive. I said, look, I mean, first of all, hopefully I exercised some compassion. I just didn't go right for the kill. But I said, in the final analysis, look, man, you've got a whole bunch of opportunities in front of you, and you're not feeling motivated about any of them. But pick your favorite one, break it down into what is one thing that I can do today. You're not feeling well, you don't have a lot of energy, but there are some things that you can do even from your desk without expending a lot of energy. What's one thing that you can do to advance that goal? And he did it, and then it's like, before you know it, you've done 3 or 4 or 5 things, because the first thing felt pretty good and you got this little hit of, happy brain chemicals.
There you go.
And before you know it, you've broken yourself out of the funk.
Speaking of happy brain chemicals, right before we started this on our TikTok live that we went into for the first time, somebody asked him what his favorite song was, and I heard it right there. And it's from the Beatles. You get by with a little help from your friends, right? So that's if you have a good friend like Tim or a coach like this man. Yes, right there. Well, yes, because the next line, of course, is I get a little high with the help of my friends. That's that happy brain chemical there. But that is a completely different podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you've enjoyed Grow with Tim today, talking about momentum, getting unstuck and getting your energy back to get back on track to be able to move on to the next progressive level. We love you guys out there following us here, there, and everywhere. Subscribe, like, and share with us how you're learning to grow with Tim yourself.